The celebrities are at it again. They're just doing the most. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is outside of what I normally do on my channel. However, I saw something on Twitter today. It made my eye twitch, and so therefore I thought that I would share it all with you and get your input on it as well. The celebrities, they're back at it again. They are a force to be reckoned with. Do we remember Imagine a couple months ago? These months, granted, now feel like they're 3 years each because just life, 2020, we're only at the halfway point, folks. There's still 6 more months of 2020 left. God only knows what that's going to hold in store for us. But we remember Imagine, right? Gal Gadot and her friends singing, having a kumbaya moment to help get us all through quarantine. Yeah, celebrities are back at it again, this time with a Black Lives Matter kind of spin to things. So if you're not sure just what in the hell it is that I'm talking about, Sarah Paulson and some friends have put up a video. I don't know that Sarah Paulson organized this or wrote it or directed it, but she was the first face that I saw. Therefore, it's now the Sarah and Friends show. Here we go.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment.
For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to cut it off there because I cannot sit through it again. It's like 2 minutes long, and those were possibly the longest 2 minutes of my life. Celebrities. It's unnecessary. You don't need to be doing this, especially all y'all white celebrities. Nobody asked you to do this, and you're not really directly helping. I think the intention is there. However, these are multi-millionaires who, side note, I don't know how they made all their money because they couldn't act their way through the 10 friggin' words that they had to say in this thing.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how big or small, our friends, our family. We are done watching them die.
Half of them didn't even bother to memorize it, they just read it. So clearly fully invested in the message. Except for Aaron, whatever the hell his name is, Aaron Paul, what the fuck's his name? With the exception of Aaron Paul, who apparently thinks that this is going to be his vessel to the Oscars.
And killer cops must be prosecuted. They are murderers. We can turn the tide. It is time to take responsibility.
However, that aside, there's a few things here. So one, it feels very much like an audition tape. Like, especially the opening, like, I take responsibility. I take responsibility. I take responsibility. It feels very much like a high school acting class. Correct me if I'm wrong. The black and white filter, it's a little on the nose for my liking. The symbolism is strong with this one, if we will. So, okay, let's parse out some of the language. So, I take responsibility. I wrote it all down. I actually watched this thing enough times that I could write the script down, basically. For every unchecked moment, for every time that it was easier to ignore, for every not so funny joke, for every blatant injustice. But then they say blatant injustice no matter how large or small. If it's blatant, it's usually pretty obvious. And for every time that Bryce Dallas Howard explained away police brutality, I would be curious to know how many times she's explained away police brutality. It's kind of a hard thing to do. But they're all committed to no longer being bystanders, to no longer allowing racist jokes or stereotypes to be said in front of them. Sure. No longer turn a blind eye. They stand against hate. Killer cops must be prosecuted. This is where Aaron Paul really just tries to drive home that message. He's very emphatic about all of this. They can turn the tide. They can take responsibility. They can call out hate. They can take action. Okay, so here's a thought. Rather than filming a PSA, and really, with the exception of Aaron Paul, like I said, he fucking went balls to the wall on this one. But really the rest of them are just kind of half-assing it. Like it's so over the top and so melodramatic that like Shakespeare would be proud.
I will not turn a blind eye. Going for a jog should not be a death sentence. Sleeping in your own home should not be a death sentence.
Okay, so here is an idea, particularly for celebrities who are sitting on bank accounts worth millions upon millions of dollars, more money than I can even conceive of, frankly. Rather than filming a severely overly dramatic PSA, I mean, honestly, Days of Our Lives, take note. This is how you do melodrama. Maybe, I don't know, open up your purse. Make a donation. Get out and march with protesters. Actions speak louder than words. Lead by example. I don't need to see you in a black and white film noir talking about what you're going to do. I need to see you doing it. And linking to a site that then brings people to areas where they can donate is not enough. You can just make the donation. And reading comments on Twitter, there's people saying, well, they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they are approached to do this and they say no, then they look like assholes. But then if they do it, people say there's an asshole. No, here's the thing. You can say no. Because I'm not sitting here watching this thinking like, well, hey, where's Tom Cruise? How come Ryan Reynolds isn't up in this bitch? No, I'm looking at the people who agreed to do this. I have no way of knowing whether or not they were remunerated for doing this. Celebrities aren't typically known for filming stuff just out of the goodness of their own heart and being purely motivated by altruism, but I don't know. I don't know. If they were paid to do this, that puts a whole other level on it. We'll never know. But no, they very well could have said, hey, thanks for asking me. I'm going to contribute in my own way, and I don't need to be in a 2-minute commercial for that. And here's the thing, the message behind this PSA, the intent of it, laudable. There's nothing wrong with the message that they're trying to convey. It's just that they've conveyed it so goddamn poorly that it's just a source of mockery. The actual intent now takes a back seat to these people just being melodramatic to the nth degree. And again, paste on that black and white filter on top of it, and it just ratchets up that melodrama. The only thing that's missing is somebody in a hat smoking in an alley. Like, it's ridiculous. So celebrities, if you want to back a Black Lives Matter movement, do it with your dollars. Do it with your actions. Leave the PSAs out of it. For the love of God, you don't need to be doing this kind of thing. It just distracts from it. This just makes me think of Blackout Tuesday, where the hashtag was flooded and with useless content. It was a black square. While the intent was pure, all it really did was just muddy the water for the actual conversation. And that's what's happening with this PSA. Yes, the intent may be good, and yes, the intent may be laudable, and perhaps these celebrities should be applauded for putting their face behind this movement and speaking their support of it. But at the end of the day, it's ultimately just a distraction. Also, and here's where I am not versed enough to really speak intelligently on this, but I would like your input and your feedback in the comments below. Is this just another example of a white savior complex? Is this celebrities just saying, okay, I will take responsibility for my part in the bigger issue, and I'm going to be aware of my actions going forward, and I'm going to change my actions going forward? Or is it a group of white people saying, okay, well, the black people need us to save them, so we're going to mount up and ride in, and that's what we're going to do? I'd be curious to hear your input on that, because for me, I'm kind of on the fence. I can see it from both sides, and I could probably play devil's advocate either way. But what I can say is that as embarrassing as this was to watch, and my God was it, and as much of a distraction as I ultimately think it's going to be, I still think, even given that, I still think that this is more helpful than, I don't know, handing a Pepsi to a cop. And on that note, I'm gonna wrap this video up here, short and sweet. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now. What am I thinking? I say a lot of words and none of them make sense. Ba, 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 now. Hey, celebrities. Are you okay? Hey, celebrities. Nobody asked you. Hey, celebrities. Just shut up. All right, we're gonna need quarantine to end soon so that the actors can get back to work. Unnecessary, unwarranted, uncalled for, unasked for celebrities. Just take a seat.